Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley, and today I am so pleased to be joined by three very special guests, three very special people and comedians. And let's go around to my left.
Hi, I'm Kyle Clark, everybody.
Hey, Kyle's back. All right, we're gonna
happy to hang.
We're gonna try to not do a 6-hour one this time.
I am here purely as a guest to laugh at the guest to my left.
Yes,
that's the whole reason I'm here. Is just they're funny, and they are.
Andy Iwancio.
Andy, welcome to the show. First time ever.
First time, long time.
First time, long time. And sitting immediately to Andy's left.
Hi, I'm Virginia Jones.
Virginia Jones is back on the damn show. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? We're going tropical for this one.
Afternoon. I have not tried my beverage yet because I figured I'd be the sample when you describe it.
So sometimes you just say something and then you actually have to do it. The
nature of podcasting.
Yeah, exactly. So talking about boat drinks, tiki bars. These are a few of my favorite things, and just trying to come up with something new, something innovative, and I believe I've done it. By Jove, this is a energy drink olada.
Yeah.
Or if we're gonna do it in Espanol, energizante.
Ooh, that sounds even better.
Beber colada. Huh?
That's how we sell this thing. All right.
Yeah.
So what's in here, and then I'm about to take a sip.
Okay, so what I did, Sam actually has been mentioning this energy drink, and I don't think we've sampled it on the show, but I, in my free time, have drank many of these. It is the tropical mango flavor of Ghost.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Ghost for Halloween. And so what I did is I bought 4 of those, and it turns out, just for our chemists at home, one standard issue Walmart ice tray is exactly 22 ounces or whatever, however much is 24 ounces.
Might be 22, but
whatever it is. It's
what
all
you're
boy.
saying is that God meant for this to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh man, when I poured all that out and it fit perfectly in that ice tray, I was like,
there was a divine light.
I just high five Jesus and then did this to myself.
I'm putting the can noise in again just in case.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Well, with this one, we need
What's
like
that
the
good one?
so that there's rum in there, so we really do need that like the when you pull the wooden cork out of the decanter.
It smells shockingly like a pina colada tropical drink smell.
Yeah, well, so it is a pina colada. Right. What this is, I turned that energy drink into ice. Okay, and then I got some pina colada mix and some Sailor Jerry's spiced brown rum and blended it all together.
Can you say what you did with each one and give me a gap after each one? Say how you made it.
Okay, I got 4 cans of Ghost. Poured them into an ice tray. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Well, let's, Andy, thank you for being on the show. Let's get Michael Winslow in here. And then, turn that into ice. I don't know. I was trying to think of like a desiccated.
It was good. You both did well.
Yeah.
It's like I was there.
And
I'm so sorry.
And then I blended it together, and here we go.
All right.
We're
parched. I'm taking a
Here we
sip.
go.
Cheers.
Taste test. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, y'all. It's
Yes.
podcasting.
Podcasting. And to fantastic ideas.
Holy shit, that's good.
Smells like tanning lotion.
This is my new
I was
drink.
about to say it tastes like a bad choice on spring break.
Oh my god, I cannot stop drinking this.
the first
so good.
taste on the tongue is very much like a snow cone. It's delicious.
Yeah.
But then there's a back flavor.
Yeah, so
That's rum.
This is what I believe the back flavor to be. Classic energy drinks are they're sugar free, so they're made with like fake aspartame or God knows
And
what.
that's the flavor.
But then the pina colada mix is made with pure cane sugar. So I think there's the interaction of fake sugar and real sugar, because I noticed this. I had one of these while I was watching WWE Extreme Rules last night. And I did notice there was I got a lot of film happening in the back of my mouth, which I think is the interaction between the energy drink sugar
I'm
and the
upset.
real
Rivers
sugar.
Langley, young scientist.
I'm upset that I have a hard out because my god, I just want to get blackout drunk on these now. I have drank so much so quickly I now have a ice headache.
You got brain freeze. All right.
I've gotten brain freeze from this.
I would say this is surprisingly tasty in the way that Bray Wyatt's showing up at the end.
That
of
was very
Extreme Rules.
tasty.
I forgot that this episode is just wrestling people helping
No.
wrestling.
Oh,
We just had to have
you gotta
We
throw
had
it
to
in
have
there.
I love
a
it.
tiny bit.
We gotta let the people know we're
I enjoy watching it transpire. It's like watching me talk to people in a way that is a lot of fun.
Yeah. What's the verdict, everybody? Should we do this again?
I'm going to say 10 out of 10. Please bring these to 4th of July.
All right. Yeah, we'll do it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I'll do like a birthday in January.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
that
There we go.
And we'll do it in my house so I can pass out in my own pool.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. There we go.
It definitely feels like a Affliction T-shirt meeting the milk after Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
Why do I think that's delicious then?
I was going to say.
No, it's all
Because
good.
you are from
The
Southern
way
California.
you know to describe these things seems like you're trying to make them sound unappetizing.
I know. I just described half of your
I did.
childhood.
Yeah.
I at some point recently was talking to someone and I used NAR as a descriptor, talking
Ooh.
to I believe a doctor in the story. And I watched them visibly flinch at my Californianess.
I have visited California too much in the past year, and I've been answering
This is the
things
third
with a
time I've seen you
shaka.
this year right here.
I have been answering things with a shaka.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I could take it, if I could just have that front of the mouth taste, that snow cone pina colada taste, and then cut my head off and put it in a waste paper basket before the back end,
Uh-huh.
I would be really happy.
Okay. All right. So what
My
you're
question
saying
is, when you're dead there, you can finish that drink.
yeah. Oh, good question. Very good question.
It's open.
I have bad news for you. We're gonna pour one out on your.
Just
we go.
rotating my head in the trash basket and pouring pina colada energy drink into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ultimate desecration.
It does.
They
pair,
call that the full Orpheus.
I do feel like it pairs well with someone being decapitated.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, because we got the producer here and we got the damn talent.
We do.
Start off. Let's move some units. Talk about your record you just did.
Yeah.
It's already been mentioned on multiple podcasts
Yeah.
and the Missoulian newspaper.
Man,
Hey.
that's- we should put it out there.
I'm getting the art. I'm getting
well,
the
no,
art.
no. So for those, I am the founder and runner, I guess would be the term.
Runner.
Of, Radland Records, and we did 4 records this year. I think that's how I'm going to do it sort of from now on, is maybe 4 records a year, because it seemed fairly manageable. And Andy,
Seasonal, like a window display.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Andy was
What's
one
the
of
new
those.
drop from Radland?
And
Yeah.
Andy's the first EP we've done, and it's real fun. It's a wild little thing there.
Where was it recorded?
At the Glendale room.
Oh, fuck yeah. Shout out to Sean Casey at
Yeah.
the Glendale room.
Cute
That
little
rocks.
place. Sounds great.
Yep.
One coworker is the only other person to listen to it, and she really liked the mix. She
Oh,
really
good.
thought it was really good. It pairs well with drinking.
What's the record called?
Hard trans.
Hell yeah.
We were figuring out how the format of the EP was going to be, because we were talking about, do we do it like a long play where it's just like 18 minutes straight through like a stand-up set, or do we break it up, or what do we do? And we had kind of played with a couple of different things, and then like sometimes somebody sends you a text and you're just like, well, fuck, that's the answer. And it was literally, she's like, I've got these 2 breakpoints in it. It'll be 3 tracks, and the track titles will be called Trans Rights now.
Oh, perfect.
And I literally, like, sitting in my room as I got that text, went, that's pretty cool.
Fuck yeah.
That's a good title.
That's perfect.
It's really solved a lot of problems for me there.
Hell yeah.
One part of the article perfectly describes me as a whole, is that just before the interview, it says, this interview was edited for brevity and clarity.
Oh, God bless.
That's the next album, edited for brevity and clarity.
That is a good title.
Well, it's very rock and roll to do an EP, to do a comedy EP. But of course, Andy is also a musician and DJ.
And a DJ.
DJ.
That's the name of the album is a reference to hard trance. The
Yeah.
genre by being hard trans. The interviewer at the Missoulian newspaper latched on to the fact that I did stand up in the 3rd grade at a talent show.
That's some
Well,
fucking
I'm
local
going to
newspaper
latch
jam.
onto that as well. Let's hear it. What happened?
The first joke I ever said on stage was at a 3rd grade talent show. I said, I just blew in, and boy, are my arms tired.
That means you can tell people you've been doing stand up for 35 years.
true.
Technically, now, I flew into LA today, and I've
Your arms are
slowly,
indeed tired.
There's a clot that's building in my arm. So technically, my arms are tired.
Are the energy drinkoladas helping or hurting this clock?
They can only help.
Much like the second half of Lenny Bruce's career, it's just coasting.
Uh-oh. You're going to start reading papers over
These
there?
aren't that bitter, though.
Court transcripts?
It would just be a glass of bitters. Glass of bitters holding legal documents.
I then did. My dad taught me a bunch of Stephen Wright jokes
Oh,
that
wow.
I said on stage.
Oh, that's perfect.
They were actually really good. And then the crowning achievement.
Uh-huh.
A Steve Urkel impression, which
Oh,
I
nice.
don't actually think is cultural appropriation. That's the only.
Well, you're both nerds.
We just,
Right,
It's true.
right.
We just came.
We're both white nerds.
This is Rad, my podcast, the sister podcast to The Goods from the Woods, is doing our Halloween block, and we did an episode on the TGIF Halloween specials. And I've really come to appreciate as an adult that I love Urkel more than I realize.
Oh.
Anytime Urkel comes up in conversation, I light up like it's a friend that just got brought up that I missed.
Family Matters is maybe the most insane mainstream sitcom of all time because it starts off fairly normal, and by the end they are time traveling, and like it's insane.
Key and Peele, best sketch show of all time, but in particular that fucking Urkel sketch.
Oh, yeah.
is truly one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen.
This is bullshit, Gene.
What's the matter, Rich?
In the next episode, Steve Urkel turns Carl into a giant sandwich and accidentally eats him.
Oh, wait, that's hilarious, buddy. It's hilarious.
Come on, I'm an actor, Gene. This was supposed to be about me and my family.
I know, but after that first death spot with Steve Urkel, America fell in love with him, man. We had to make him a regular, and hey, listen, he's the star of the show now, sweetheart. We gotta play ball, Bubba.
Don't you dare bubble me, Gene. Now, last week, Steve used his transformation machine to turn Carl into a car and drive him around the Monaco Grand Prix. Come on! How many times are we gonna use this transformation machine? This was supposed to be a blue-collar Cosby show. Now you turn it into goddamn Quantum Leap.
The last thing about the talent show is I tied for third place with an Irish jig dancer.
There's the album after.
Like my Montreal audition.
I joked about something, and the interviewer latched onto it and made it large text when I said jokingly to him that my reason to be into comedy is my hatred of Irish jig dancing.
Michael Flatley, you're on notice.
That makes two of us. Fuck you, Riverdance. Clog out of here on the clogs you clogged in on.
Lord of the dance, more like jester of the dance. Fuck you, Ireland.
I believe I stated to the interviewer, I can make statements about Irish jig dancing because I have epilepsy and I'm Irish, and every seizure is an Irish jig. It's a terrible joke, and I said it in passing, and he made it
The headline.
very big.
You can't trust them.
No, it was quite fun. Anyway,
But you're famous in Missoula, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Missoula was amazing. Bozeman, Montana, amazing.
Last time I was in Bozeman, got to my hotel. I looked across the street. I was like, "Ooh, there's a Cracker Barrel over there." And then I got in my room and I was like, I bet that Cracker Barrel delivers to this hotel. And they did indeed. And boy, I had, you know how they give you the 2 beds and one's for sleeping and one's for eating? Just a smorgasbord on the eating bed of a Cracker Barrel.
You're just completely naked, rolling around in sweet potatoes, playing one of those little peg games.
That's closer to the truth than I'd
What
like to
you're
admit.
describing is, a very real thing that can happen.
Yeah,
I remember being on tour and Keith Carey had left our room for a few hours ago, and I had ordered a bunch of food, and he just came back to a half-dressed me covered in Domino's residue watching Adult Swim.
I think we could all come together. What I've found is traveling to the conservative parts of the country, I think Cracker Barrel is a beautiful allegory.
Oh, I love it.
That we could all find what we have in common, which is carbs and pegging.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy.
What a beautiful view. Yeah, I've never gigged in Bozeman. I've only gigged in
Never
Missoula.
been to Montana.
Oh, I've
Ooh, gorgeous.
You know where, like in old video games, you could see the length of where the polygons run out.
Oh,
where
yes.
the level runs out, and
Yeah.
then it's just fog.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 blocks, and then fog. It's like wandering out of Silent Hill.
I was about to say, it's lightly Silent Hilly.
But instead of the triangle head, it's a triangle hat.
Let's talk Sonic the Hedgehog. That's the last video game I played. Yeah.
I had a bit about it. Like, I work in shipping, and this is a fun bit. We can talk about this. funny town names.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah.
upstate New York has multiple town names that sound like Sonic the Hedgehog
Yeah.
levels.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Thermopolis. There's an Energopolis.
Emerald Hill.
Yeah, there's like multiple.
Wait, there's a city called Energopolis.
Yeah, there's an Energopolis and a Thermopolis.
Well, I now know where I'm recording my next record.
Energopolis. I was going to say, that's the next mixed drink. I got to figure out how to make an Energopolis. It's got to be, I don't know, something.
town names?
Yeah.
Funny town names?
Yeah, well, you're from Maryland. What's the weirdest town name in Maryland?
There's two town names that I found out because I working in shipping. The only thing that we have to do to pass the time is funny town names and funny names, and the two best ones in Maryland. One place is a place called Another Place,
Hell yeah.
as if somebody said we got to name another place. Then they're like, another place.
Good enough.
Okay. There is.
They came up with that at 4:00 on a Friday.
I was going to say, where do you want to live? Another place.
Save your riffs. Here comes the real winner.
Uh-huh.
There's a town just outside of DC, and it is called Mutual Consent. So now you can tell people it's not just a town in Maryland. I don't know. I hope they voted on it.
Well, the wife is like, I want to live in Baltimore. And then the husband's like, I want to live in D.C. And then they settled on mutual consent. Yes.
Best town name in the country that it hasn't been topped. It's in North Carolina. There is a water reservoir next to a rehab clinic. And it is affectionately, I think it was originally called something like Theoville Lake or something, but it is now called Drug and Alcohol Abuse Lake. What, you can Google it. That's what it comes up.
Wow.
I joked that that's also the name for Lake Havasu, which is not a bad joke. I didn't say when it was in Arizona. I forgot to say it. But Drug and Alcohol Abuse Lake.
That's fucking amazing.
There's a park in New York, in city, not upstate, called Crack is Whack Park,
Oh, hell yeah.
because there's a big Keith Haring mural that says Crack is Whack, and but seeing it on a map is like, well, yeah, I mean, yes, but why?
Yeah.
Is the paint upkeeped?
Oh yeah, they upkeep that. Paint.
Okay,
they
okay,
upkeep
you
it.
can't
They're
have it-
very proud of their Haring.
It can't
Yeah.
Very
crack.
proud.
It can't be
You
cracked.
can't crack. No.
I've run down the Alabama ones many times, but they're smut eye, slap out, shin bone, burnt corn, bug tussle.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Bug
pretty
Tussle
good.
is legend.
Yeah, that's some pretty good ones there. Yeah. So, although I found out that there was a, oh God, is it? Yeah, it's in Kentucky, and it's called Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky.
Wow.
Pennsylvania has a couple good ones. It has Intercourse.
The only funny city I've bought a t-shirt of.
I bet they sell a lot of those shirts.
Oh.
There's a not far from Intercourse. There's a Blue Ball, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yep.
He's near Bird in Hand.
Now, what's the distance between intercourse and mutual consent?
It's a ways. It's about an hour away.
Yeah. Not as close as it
It's a
should
lot
be.
of talking.
Yeah.
It's agreeing to terms.
Yeah.
Establishing safe words.
There's a town in
Changing outfits.
Subtle wink, Delaware.
I love urban legends and I love towns that like there's 1,000 gates to hell that people say.
Oh,
there.
sure. Yeah.
They're all over the country, but my favorite is in Pennsylvania because they have a Hellum Township.
Oh,
So
shit, okay.
people say that it is there. And so it's happened so much that on the town's website, there's a page telling people there aren't gates of hell. I've never seen a town have to
That's pretty good.
make a whole page.
Yeah, just saying that we are not actually the entrance to hell.
And the more you say it's not, the more you think it is.
yeah.
The way that it's put is even funnier because they're like, the story is always like something like an insane doctor had an asylum, was experimenting on patients, it burned down. There's 7 gates of hell. You reach a certain number, then you like disappear or whatever. And there's a multiple of these, but my favorite is that they were like, listen, there's no insane doctor and gates of hells. There is a dentist who erected 5 black gates around his property, but there's nothing weird. It's just 5 Victorian gates.
Pay no attention to the Victorian gates.
Black Victorian gates in the middle of Pennsylvania woods by a maniacal dentist.
The glowing...
Nothing about an asylum.
The emerald green laser-like light shooting through the keyholes. To be ignored.
I will say this. Sometimes places like that have less attention than you think they should. And I only say this because myself and I believe past guest on the show, Brent Schmidt, we are both big fans of Jack Parsons, the JPL rocket scientist, who was also a bit of an occultist.
And blew himself up.
Yep. Bitter rival of L. Ron Hubbard.
Summoned a hurricane to sink his famous boat.
I love Jack Parsons with all my heart. And many years ago now, Brent Schmidt and our dear friend Matt Curdy and I went and did the Jack Parsons walking tour.
Whoa.
Because Jack Parsons, all 3 of the major houses in his life are on one block.
Right.
Because for those of you who don't know,
it's Pasadena, right?
Yeah, it's over there. And he was a kid, and he learned on his 18th birthday that not only who his father was, but also that he had been living down the street and was a multimillionaire. And he only informed his son because he was dying and giving him the house. So he had this giant house that he developed, JPL stuff in, and then threw satanic orgies inside. And then he eventually had to move to another house where he was building an experimental rocket fuel that lit him on fire, and then he walked from his shed where he had exploded to his front driveway before dying. Fully engulfed in flames.
Gus Fring, real life Gus Fring ending.
But the best part of it is you can go see all 3 of those houses. And so Brent and I and Matt went to the dark house and went around. We're doing our thing. And what's funny is there was visibly evidence of other people who had done the same stuff we had done.
I was going to ask, is this like an official tour? Or you just did it yourself?
No, we did it ourselves at night.
I was
but we found other people who had done sigils and sex magic at this place as well. And so we were hoping we'd run into another group of people doing weird Satan shit while we were there. But at the same time, we were thrilled to find stuff only because okay, so other people think this is weird as well. Because I feel like if it were me, this is all I'd be talking about all the time. I live in Simi Valley. I'm used to people talking about the fucking Manson caves. Way less satanic drug orgies involved in that.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a creationist museum in Texas.
You don't say.
Do they do season passes?
It's there because they found dinosaur footprints in Glen Rose, Texas, in the river.
Oh, and they kind of
and so they have to they're like, look, dinosaurs and cavemen were friends. God made them all together. And I forced my friends to go, and it was the high point of that trip, and I was correct. But there was definitely the vibe of looking around. Who's there for the same reasons I'm there?
Yeah. Who's there for irony purposes?
The irony versus non-irony.
Who's there?
Sure.
Who's there? Because they're like, no, it's true. Birds couldn't have come from dinosaurs, but
because they don't exist.
Yeah.
They're not real.
I am just here to get a T-shirt of a guy riding a velociraptor with a saddle. I don't actually believe any of this shit.
And if that person is Jesus, so much
that's
better.
fine.
What if I go and I get one over though? What if their park and museum is so impressive and airtight? And I'm like, well, I simply have no more arguments.
Yeah, where's the baptismal pool?
No, highly recommend. They've got a model of the Ark that shows you how dinosaurs could have easily fit into an Ark. It's great. Everyone should go.
It feels like an art display.
It's outsider art. Yeah, folk art.
And if you've been to the Jurassic Technology,
oh, of course, yes.
And so you've been to a museum, it has that feel.
My partner was unaware of all the stuff going on with that place.
It takes a long time. It took me a long time to figure it out because people kept telling me to go. I'm like, this is the greatest. This is the greatest. Wait, this is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, Glen Rose, Texas. Everybody make sure and check it out.
Yeah, the premise is there's dinosaur footprints and then supposedly human footprints that are side by side in the fossil.
Except when there were only dinosaur footprints because dinosaur Jesus was carrying.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
The weird thing with my brother and I don't see eye to eye because he is a Catholic priest.
Okay.
I'm queer and trans, but the only thing
difference.
The only thing we see eye to eye on is on the fact that we both love roadside attractions and spooky stuff.
All right.
So me and my priest brother went to Devil's Gate.
Fuck yeah!
What is Devil's Gate? Where is it?
It's here in LA.
Oh.
It's one of the places they considered would be a functional point that is a point of energy.
Like a
that
ley line.
Oh,
would
okay,
help
gotcha.
raise the Antichrist.
It's mostly a big rock, though, yes.
And yeah, but it was me and my brother, the priest, walking there. And then, like, we saw, it's the only time what I love is that it's the Devil's Gate. It's a point that was supposed to be a point of energy to help raise the Antichrist. But there's also an ultimate Frisbee course.
Ah!
But then we saw a coyote, and that felt like me and my brother were Jesus and Satan walking through the desert. And I was trying to tempt him.
With Ultimate Frisbee.
Yeah, with ultimate Frisbee.
I mean, with that many frat guys around, you could possibly open the gates of hell at an ultimate Frisbee course. Yeah.
You guys can laugh, but when you play Ultimate Frisbee at Devil's Gate,
I'm gonna be honest, I would
get
play.
a distance and accuracy you have
That
never
sounds
seen
great.
before in your life.
I was for like 3 weeks in a group of people who played Ultimate Frisbee, but it was the Ultimate Frisbee Street Gutter Punks. And so it was all guys sewn together, patched up, skinny jeans, and half fucking I'm a whore for cheap sex t-shirts, actively holding Gatorade bottles full of vodka, still throwing frisbees around.
Wow.
It was a goddamn delight. I also learned if you're going to play, Doc Martens are better than Creepers as far as punk rock shoe attire goes.
Okay.
If you like pina coladas, getting caught in the rain. If you're not into yoga, and if you have a brain. If you like making love and good things, in the dunes on the Cape, and I'm the love that you've looked for. Write to me and escape.
Speaking of drugs and alcohol, Lake, it is time for part 3 of my book report of What Are the Odds from Crack Addict to CEO by the fucking My Pillow psycho, Mike Lindell.
It's amazing to see the hologram in action. It looks like Sergeant Slaughter moving from wrestling to working the back. That's just for me and him. Y'all will just
Best
be...
friends.
I mean, I could see that. Yeah.
It has full lenticular action on the front and back cover for your listeners.
It's lindicular.
It's
It's
lindicular.
Lindell. See, lindicular.
Emphasis on the dick.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is on the Lin.
So
These are the brainiac superpowers you can only get when you were drinking pina colada energy drink.
I'm
with rum in
almost
it.
done for the record.
I
Oh my
am
God.
done mine. I kind of want more.
I do too.
you finished yours? I mean, hey, you can take one for the road. That's okay.
Yeah, you should. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
I've still got half a
can't-
bag of energy cubes that I don't know what to do
I can
with.
figure out a way to transport those, but I fully cannot.
I mean, it's not that far. It's,
Look, we can't be starting to do that.
you can't be moving energy cubes across county
No,
lines.
cops will pull me over.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
What is
bootlegging
this
operation.
bag? Oh, Energon.
It's energy cubes. What?
Oh God, it was Prowl who was pulling me over. Goddamn Transformers. I promised myself I'd never get involved again.
So in current day Mike Lindell news, he has been saying that the Supreme Court was going to throw out the $1.3 billion lawsuit that's pending against him from the Dominion voting machine people. And he keeps going around being like, it's going to be 9-0. It's going to be uncontested. They're going to throw this out.
Is that all Coke confidence?
Yeah, well, that's...
Coke and a good night's sleep.
Yeah, well, that's the big thing that we've been trying to figure out is like, what is he doing right now? Because is it just high off of God?
Yeah.
Or is it
It's
like
the self-help
a
main
shit
madness.
fuck ton of Adderall, which is like the reasonable man's
Yeah.
drug
know,
or whatever.
Responsible crack.
When
Yeah.
people, you know that part when somebody gets a new mattress and they can't help but tell you how much sleep they're getting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what we're getting with a dude who owns a pillow company.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm so rested. I'm just like using 100% of my brain. He is to pillows what most LA people are to crystals.
That's a significant chunk of these chapters did have to do with foam. So I did sort of space out during foam talk. But yeah, so anyway, the Supreme Court was like, yeah, this lawsuit can proceed. So he's kind of fucked right now. But when last we left off with this book, which came out in 2019, Mike had just sold his foam smashing machine patent and a majority of My Pillow to a guy named Wayne for $84,000.
Nice work, Wayne.
And this chapter literally starts with him going, I realized I had found a new drug, selling pillows. And I wanted to say, I mentioned this last time, I had been reading this book, and then I found that you can actually listen to it for free on the audiobook. But here's the worst part. And I'm going to compare Mike Lindell to Violent J just briefly. He reads this book as if he's reading it for the first time. Like, as if it's not his story.
He periodically goes, huh.
Well, it's not
Wild.
like, it's not that bad. He's just like, me and my friend Daryl were at the store, and then he insisted we go gambling, and so we took some money, and he's just reading it straight through, as opposed to
As if someone just walked in, gave him a book, and said, "Here, read this into this book."
Right. Like it's not conversational at all. And I, had been wanting to cover Violent J's autobiography, but he reads that in his stage voice, where he's like,
Yes.
so
Unbearable.
he's screaming it with no like intonation.
The first thing happened when my brother Rob and I were running around in my mom's front yard in Berkeley. He was 6 and I was 4, and we were chasing one of those colorful, humongous ass butterflies. Suddenly, my brother started screaming, Joe, I got it! Rob had actually caught the butterfly. I was pretty fucking shocked, and so was he. So was the butterfly, I'm guessing.
For 6 hours, and I'm like, I need you to pretend you're having a conversation with me.
You didn't know this, that he's actually gotten a permanent procedure. To his voice is always like that. They call it ninjification.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
He can't whisper.
Well, I've heard him in interviews, and he does.
He has a normal voice.
He has a normal voice, and I'm like, and I get that. I guess he's trying to,
Be
be his character.
be the
right.
character.
But what's weird, all right,
Yeah.
I'm going to reveal too much information.
Uh-huh.
I only find that surprising because I've heard him do audio narration in his normal voice.
Oh, really?
Because back in when I was in college, me and my friend were drinking one night, and we were watching a bunch of ICP stuff, like you do. And we decided at one point to call the ICP hotline. Which was a thing you could call, like one of those fan things.
Yeah.
And it was just Violent J talking into the phone talking about how he was like looking at a wall of laminates from old tours, and, like reading old lineups and mumbling about stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
And but all he was just like, yeah, no, okay, here's like 98 in Irvine. Man, that was fun. We had Tech 9 opening for us. Tech 9 burned it down that night. That was a real, like, both of us. We saw, I'm trying to remember what it was, but we ended up on their website by the end of the evening.
Oh, shit.
And then saw that they had a fan line, and we're like, well, clearly we should call that right now at 2 a.m.
Well, yeah, you got to. Yeah. Was it 1-900? Did it cost money?
It probably did. I do remember making my friend make the call.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, there you go.
And then we just threw it on speakerphone and just listened. I should have taped it.
Yeah.
Right,
but I will. Oh, sorry.
If we're talking about books you need to listen to, Keith Richards' autobiography
Life, yeah.
is my favorite because they like keep lying to other people because he can't remember. He's like, I couldn't remember.
If I'm not mistaken, they eventually got Johnny Depp to read it.
They did,
I think. Yeah.
But like, so it keeps handing off to different people. But the last part of the book, he's like, we'll give it off to the man himself, Keith Richards. And so then Keith Richards is talking about him recording an album in Jamaica. And he's like, I was recording this album. I went to a brothel. I hired a woman. I put her in the far off corner, and I sat in the other part of the corner. I'm playing a guitar, and I'm just playing it. Now, we had a vocalist on that album. I can't tell it as well as she can. But instead of having the woman, it is Keith Richards.
Oh, hell yes.
Doing the I'm a pretty light. I wasn't. No, I can't even do the patois.
Oh, no, is she? Wait, did he do a Chet Hanks?
Doing the impression of so it's Keith Richards doing an impression of a Jamaican woman.
Oh,
Wow.
so it's my new phone ringtone.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's at the very end of the book.
Okay, good,
Last
good.
chapter. chapter, you can zip ahead.
Come on, YouTube.
I can't even like attempt that. I don't even know what that would sound like. I
can, but I'm not to do it because Virginia's here.
No, okay.
It's like when you see people and they're trying to break into. It's like that part in Ghostbusters where they're using the lasers for some reason to stop a ghost jewelry heist. The idea of the lasers bouncing through several prisms. That's what it is.
I believe it's that they couldn't see them, so he had to use the mirrors to create an area of effect.
But yeah, all of that is to say that when you read Mike Lindell, he reads like the guy at the end of the bar telling amazing bullshit stories where you're like, I'm here. Like, I know you're a bad dude.
You're a liar, but I will be here all night.
I will listen to your bullshit forever because it's just
I listened to a blind hippie tell me about going through the Amazon for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, yes. See, this is why we're simpatico in this way. I will listen to your dog shit because if it's well told. But then to listen to Mike Lindell, it's fucking boring. I was like, how do you make your stuff boring when you read it?
Shouldering through the crowds of tourists who blurred as I passed them, I rushed back to the hotel, clutching my drugs. Finally, my vacation had begun.
I have the question. Much like an 8th grader reading something from a paper, can you hear him hit the end of a sentence and then a paragraph and then move down orally to the next paragraph?
No, and this is why producing a podcast is bad when you're listening to audio, because I can tell they did the thing where they found and seeked silences to shorten it. So you can't really hear the delicious pauses and him fucking up. Like, someone did edit the shit out of this thing, but it comes off. It's not that it's unnatural. It's just, like I said, it sounds like somebody reading a thing, but it was funny to fire up that audiobook and just hear him go, I found a new drug, making pillows. But he talks about his Uncle Butch, who goes to rehab, then ends up drinking himself to death after getting out of rehab. But at Uncle Butch's funeral, a guy comes up to Mike and he says, Mike, you saved my life. And he ended up finding God. So Mike basically sets up this thing where he's still a hardcore crack addict, but all these people that he keeps counseling in stopping drugs keep coming up to him and going like, I'm great now. Thanks,
so he's like
buddy.
Forrest Crack.
He's Forrest Crack. Yes, he's going around Minnesota saving lives, but then, flushing his own down the toilet. So the foam smashing machine that he sold, it's called a hammer mill, and he sells it to this, this dude who basically buys it specifically to kill My Pillow. And he ends up locking it up in like a warehouse so Mike can't get to his pillows. So it is like a Super Mario situation where you're looking at the wrong castle, Mike. It's somewhere else. So him and his wife his wife is also smoking crack, by the way, and they are
important to have hobbies.
Yeah, and they begin hiding their crack addiction. Well, that's the thing; they're not doing it mutually. Like, they're both trying to hide.
Lame. They'd have so much fun together.
I know, right? Yeah, and
can you imagine? It would be like the Pina Colada song. Like, they sit across and they're like, "But I smoke crack," and then just have a hearty laugh about it.
So he goes to the Riverside Casino in Laughlin, Nevada, because at this point he's making all of his money counting cards. And he says 2006 was card counting, home shows, and state fairs for me. That's how he starts it off, because he's selling pillows.
It's like a Bob Dylan lyric.
And card counting. Yeah, exactly. He ends up meeting the owner of the casino in Laughlin, whose name is Don Laughlin.
Hell
Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it?
Don Laughlin's a great name.
Yeah, but I just like that he's in the city of Laughlin and he's trying to come up with a name that's obviously bullshit for this book. And he's just like, his name was Don Laughlin. Yes, he happened to be from Laughlin.
I for no reason. But whenever I'm listening to an episode of anything Kyle's done or anything Rivers has done, I feel necessary to text at them randomly my notes.
It's exciting. I remember I learned people listen to the show.
Yeah.
There's a drug dealer that was called the Greek earlier in this book.
That's right, El Greco.
I'm here to tell you that the Greek was a character in The Wire. He is a drug dealer in The Wire. That
Baltimore in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
That's played by, I believe, one of his henchmen is one of the Fratellis from
that band.
Goonies.
Oh, from Goonies.
Oh, wait. The director of My Son Hunter? Robert Davi? Oh no, all of my podcast things are collapsing on themselves.
Pretty good.
It's like when you step into a puddle that's deeper than you think. That's what talking to both Rivers and Kyle and Virginia is like.
She got factoids.
I've never performed at the River's Edge Casino in Laughlin, Nevada, but I have performed at the Edgewater Casino in Laughlin, Nevada.
Oh,
and
is there water in
I've
Laughlin,
never played
Nevada?
a casino.
Okay, here's what it is. There's a river. The river runs through it, and Arizona is right over there. And so what happens? And then Arizona doesn't do time change, and Nevada does. So on New Year's Eve, you party on the one side, and then you go across the bridge,
And you can party again.
again.
Okay.
That's pretty sweet. It's like being at Pleasure Island.
And I think River's Edge is maybe where you see cheap movies. Anyway, it's a real shithole and no one should go.
So Don Laughlin writes his name on a business card and hands it to Mike and says, "I've got an interest in My Pillow," and that allows Mike to get this other dude Price, who's holding his hammer mill hostage. He's like, "I've got a millionaire who could sue you," so that's how he ends up getting his hammer mill back, which again is a foam smashing machine for his private.
That could not be replicated or duplicated in any way.
Well, so he does end up having to do that exactly, but not before selling his business to more businessmen, Colby and Bates, who buy 38% of My Pillow's stock. They then orchestrate some quick moves,
Some chicanery,
and acquire 41% of the stock, which allows them to fire Mike Lindell and his wife from My Pillow. So he's like,
I really didn't think it out all the way.
That's the thing. He's like, they stabbed me in the back. So he's very mad about this. At that point, he's trying to get his company back, and he's approached by FBI agents who have been looking into his bankruptcy from the last one. And they're like, yeah, we know your bankruptcy is fucked up and bullshit, but we're actually going after your lawyers for being corrupt. So if you talk to us, we'll get you out of this.
I'll have to talk to my lawyer first.
Yeah. So he agrees to snitch, I guess, on his lawyers, but they
Everybody knows that Jesus was a narc. Look it up. Thou shalt rat.
My Pillow is filled with files that are about the rest
They're
of the...
full of documents.
There's full of documents. I get to sleep knowing that they will save me in court.
We get to February 2007, which is when the Greek thing happens from the very beginning of this book. So now we're caught up with the prologue. Where
Now
he goes,
you know how I got here.
Yeah, and he keeps referring
This is where we started the story.
He keeps referring to the guys that attempted to rob him in the streets of Mexico as Clean Cut and Eyes. So those are the names. Eyes apparently held a machete to his neck. Then the next day, him and his
I
friend
feared for my life and was erect to the point where it hurt.
When did Richard Nixon start in the story?
My voice is all turned into Richard Nixon. I've got two impressions, Nixon and Cher, and I got to kind of like spread them out into more things.
I believe if you look at all of the things in this pillowcase, I am not a crook.
I believe in life after love.
Oh, God.
Him and his friend Skelly charter a boat, and he tells Skelly all of his problems.
I want a friend named Skelly.
And his names are incredible. Eyes, Clean Cut, Skelly,
I wanted
Toad,
to
Uncle
slowly
Butch.
construct a new gang for West Side Story.
I'm sad I wasn't taking notes of all of the people he mentions in this.
I believe that's most of the names of the punks in the decline of Western civilization. This is Eyes. This is Skelly. We got this band called X. Oh, that Nazi thing? You know, we're contrarian.
It's more of a fashion thing. We also use the N-word.
So he tells Skelly that all of his problems, they're on this boat, and he goes, what would you do, Skelly? And he goes, I'd jump off this fucking boat. That's Skelly. Skelly's being helpful. They
if you're not part of the problem, you're part of. You know what I mean, Skelly. My feelings are hurt.
My name's Skelly. You know what my answer is. We're going to go get ribs.
So Colby and Bates, the businessman that he sold the thing to and is now potentially trying to get the thing back from him, they show up at his house and they are very obviously wearing a wire. So they're like, Mike, would you allow us into the factory? And he's like, hell no, I wouldn't let you in the factory. And so now they have him on tape saying that he's denying them access to the factory that they technically own. So now they're going to, I guess, call the cops on him. Meanwhile, his wife is dating a guy named Steve pretty openly. While they go to a party. They party.
Well, it was a bummer. He was a good guy.
They say that Steve was, quote, one of those guys who considered himself a ladies' man, and all the ladies he liked were married. Mike is 46 years old, and he's still smoking a shitload of crack and trying to figure out how to get out of debt. At Karen's 50th birthday party that he holds for her at the American Legion Hall, which I'm like, what every woman has always wanted. Yes, please, let's have a party at the place where all of the sad Vietnam vets drink and scream. Yeah. So everyone ends up at Steve's house afterwards, and they party all night, and Karen decides to not leave Steve's house in the morning. Mike's like, let's go. And she's like, I'm fucking staying at Steve's.
He should have known that she was going to cheat on him because
she was cheating on him.
Went with, she just hung close to the one guy who didn't have a nickname. She was cheating on Mike with Steve.
Yeah.
It was either going to be Mike, Steve, or Jeff.
It was a knife in my heart, but not as sharp as the one had it been Skelly.
So
Skelly, Jolly, eyes, fingers. None of them are
El Greco.
They've all got their blues band and their jazz band they've got to do, but anybody with a polo shirt is going to try to steal his wife.
So he goes home without his wife, and then he's like, my house is a mess. If I clean the house, she'll come back. And he walks into his son's room. And his son's room is filthy. He's 18 years old, by the way. And he tells him to clean the room. And his son's like, fuck off, Dad. And and this is what he says. I threw his dragon bong across the room. And I was like, no one has a dragon bong. And if they do, it's ironic. No one just naturally gets a dragon bong.
Dragon Bong Z.
And it's stuck to the wall because it is the bedroom of an 18-year-old boy, and everything is sticky.
Mike has a long night of the soul in his office with crack and a guy named Charlie. Karen leaves with Steve, and now we've arrived at book 3, which is titled Jesus. And so the moment, according to Mike, the moment his wife leaves for good, that is the exact moment the power company kills the lights in his house. And I'm like, yes, that's how these happen.
Dramatically
Cinematic.
convenient.
Yep. So Mike keeps, this is just what I wrote. Mike keeps driving by Steve's house thinking about punching him. He punches out Steve's window. Steve fixes it the next day. Mike goes back the next day and punches it out again. The next day, he does a home invasion, and Karen hides in the closet. The next day, he drives up in Steve's driveway. Steve is on the phone with the cops saying, the criminal is back. Mike Lindell is here. And he punches Steve in the face, and Steve dramatically rolls down the hill. And then he gets in his car and like Hulk smashes his dashboard, and it causes the window to like break like spider webs.
I was very strong.
I was crack strong.
I will say, like, as you were saying this, I'm realizing that most of the passages from this book read like the video segments from backstage at a WWE event. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's just like him driving up and the camera crew's there, and it's clearly like the Undertaker's house.
Shaped like a coffin.
Mike has a spy named Rachel, who he's also, hanging out with on the side. Rachel goes by Steve's house to confirm that Steve has indeed called the cops, which is like, yeah, you drove to his house and punched him in the face.
And then Rachel's boyfriend, Chandler.
He goes to the spy's house and parties for 4 days and never checks on his kids the whole time. So now the wife is with Steve.
Rachel sounds fun. You should date her.
Yeah, but she should also be like, hey, Mike, don't you have like a shitload of kids? Where are they if your wife's at Steve's house?
Less fun.
Yeah.
My son is trying to do a bong hit off a 90-degree angle.
He finds out that the corporate guys still haven't bought the patent for My Pillow, and he has until midnight. And if they don't buy it by midnight, he can then potentially borrow some money and buy the thing. So very, very dramatic. His brother
It's called a ticking clock device.
It's like, it's tightly written. It's like every chapter is like another incredible
I aim
Hulk
to
episode.
have some of the fun of a Jack Reacher novel.
His brother is the one who ends up like buying the patent, and so now he and let's hope he sold it before 2020. But he has like a huge stake in the company. His brother does because of this event, and everyone vows to quit smoking crack that night. Mike finally goes to sleep after many days, and then Rachel then smokes crack even after she said she wouldn't. Mike drives home and he keeps hearing a screaming sound. And then he realizes it's him.
Now, on that topic, team, we're about 30 minutes into our power drink pina colada experience. Is anybody else seeing tracers?
I'm vibing. I am fucking vibing.
Yeah.
No, but again, I have learned with caffeine, due to decisions I made in my youth, caffeine is sort of a polite whisper most of the time in my brain.
Mike calls 911 and then says that Steve is holding his wife against her will, which then just involves the cops being like, oh, yeah, you're that crackhead. And they show up and arrest him.
Hi, is this 911? Somebody's holding my wife against her will. I need her to be here so I can hold her against her will here at home.
Their divorce only takes 3 weeks. And
he's awake for every night of it.
Land speed record.
And the thing is, he keeps talking about how broke he is, but then he also somehow buys another house that he keeps referring to as my house in the woods. And so I'm like, is it a real house or do you just imagine it's a house?
Is
it just the woods? It's
Right.
just the woods, right?
Some people use the word tent, which I find offensive.
I refer to it as my own private Idaho.
He now also moves in with crackhead Rachel, and he says it was a constant storm of drugs and arguments.
In there.
Rachel moves out. Mike then experiences what he calls a walking coma, and he says
In there
that
as well.
And he said that that's what his doctors called it too. And I'm like, no, they didn't.
Would you say the words walking coma for me, please? Even if the words are, it is not before.
And guess what gets him out of his walking coma? His friend Jim leaves some chocolate popcorn at his doorstep. And that's what gets him out. I was like, you are...
My sweet tooth was stronger than my crack tooth.
The only thing that pries me from a crack binge is Boy Scout popcorn.
Well, I know I'm a crack addict. I have always been a lifelong chocoholic.
He gets his first TV shot. He goes on public access to talk about My Pillow, and they keep rerunning this segment. And then he claims, okay, this is he's saying he's up at like 2 a.m, and he has a line that he gave on the TV show for the My Pillow line, and he says that while he's sitting up smoking crack, a woman calls the My Pillow line to pray with him and tell him that the work he's doing is important. Mike does coke while he's praying with the lady. He's also simultaneously reading a website called The Devil's Candy about how to quit smoking crack. While this is going on, another lady calls him and says, God told me what you're doing is important. And then
Selling pillows?
And then a guy calls and says, I don't believe in God, but I keep having these dreams that what you're doing is important to God. And now that I've called you, maybe these dreams will stop, you asshole.
Helping Christians get rest is important.
He claims that in this one night, he got like 5 random phone calls from people being like, God told me to call you.
Oh, so this is a lie.
Yes, of course. Yes, this is insane.
I like to believe people.
Oh, what's going on? No, I've got laminates on the walls. Your trouble reminds me of the time I was in Reseda. Tech 9 was opening for me. I did a line of coke and then snorted Faygo off a woman's vagina.
Sounds awesome.
I'll pray with you.
I'd pray for that.
The fifth person that calls.
I got my prayer well praying.
The 5th person that calls, he describes as a robot woman, calls and says, Mike, this is a message from God. Everything you've experienced will help you live through the next 6 months.
God robot was really giving me the business.
Do you believe in life after love?
I'm a simple Christian. I believe in the simple Christian values of creating products that lead people into the future and robot messengers from God.
Do you feel like you could be strong enough now?
Crackhead Rachel comes back and says that she has now called the cops on him. And he runs away and steals her car, goes to his dealer Joe in Minneapolis, and then this is the most famous thing about this book. This is when this happens. He stays there and he runs My Pillow over the phone and stays awake for 2 weeks straight. And when he comes out, he goes in the bathroom to just wash his face. And when he comes out, all of the local Minneapolis drug dealers, Tiggs, Ray, and Joe, they stage an intervention on Mike Lindell.
Craggy John.
Wait, where was Eyes in all this?
Feldman.
I think Eyes is
Two
back
bags.
in whatever weird town he lives
Skeet.
in. Yeah.
Domino
Tree.
Jerry.
Skull.
Leaving.
Piranha.
Midnight Mike.
Fat Stevie.
Magic Mike.
Tiny Stevie.
Regular Stevie.
The Stevie brothers.
Normal Mike.
Violent J.
Open Mike.
Ugly
He doesn't do
Violet.
comedy. He's just really open with his feelings.
Tommy Two-Tone. It's not the guy
Tommy
you're thinking of.
Two-Tone.
Tommy one tone. Tommy no tone.
So they basically have, like I said, they have an intervention with him, and they say that basically Tiggs goes, Mike, how much crack do you have left? He's like, I got 2 rocks. And he's like, I'm going to sit here until you smoke all of it, and that's going to be it. And no one's going to sell to you. Wow. And so he waits till he smokes the rocks, waits till Tiggs falls asleep, goes out on the street, and indeed, no one will sell crack to him. Not a single person in Minneapolis. Yeah, because those drug dealers, they told him, if you sell to the crazy white guy with the mustache, you're done. And
Here's a question I already know the answer to, but I'll ask anyways. Have any of you had a friend who's been cut off before from professional drug dealers? I'm looking at you, Andy.
I have a friend who did too much nitrous.
Mm-hmm.
He got cut off.
That's a pretty low bar.
He did what I did. I had never heard the phrase, but I'm here to tell you, nitrous psychosis is a real thing. And he came out of the hospital, yelled that he was, and thought he was at a protest, and yelled. And this really happened, unlike Mike's. And everybody in all of the different deadhead nitrous circles outside of the shows at fish shows would not sell him balloons.
Yeah. The what is it? The Pittsburgh Nitrous Mafia.
Yeah, it's something like that.
A cutoff is always an impressive thing in those kinds of worlds because you've done some shit.
Not since a spooky clown has people with a balloon been threatening.
You ever met somebody who, like, you've heard stories that they're cut off and then you get to see why? I used to work a trivia gig where there was a lady who didn't drink a lot.
Oh, I thought you were going to say got cut off from trivia.
No. She continued. That place needed business.
Okay. Yeah.
But she did not drink. It was this fun group of older folk that all thought I was fun. They were all kind of older Gen Xers who liked that I like Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Yeah, sure.
Have word will travel. And so they one of them didn't drink a ton, and then one night she started drinking, and then all hell broke loose. And it was truly one of those like, oh, I super get this.
Right. They're not fucking around. Like, this is a serious thing.
I also, man, I'm just telling stories that aren't mine left and right today, leaving shit anonymous. I have a friend who a couple tried to lure him and his friend into, at I believe it was either a party or a concert, into hanging out in their car and doing nitrous with them in the hope that they would both then have sex with this guy's wife.
We like your vibe. We want to have this balloon.
Perhaps also Donna.
Let's meet in mutual consent.
Drive all the way to
that's
intercourse
too good of a-
tonight.
God, having an affair at a hotel in mutual consent would be pretty funny.
Tiggs took this picture on the cover, by the way.
Oh.
So he was like, I'm going to take
Both of them?
No, just the one where he's all messed up. He's like, I'm going to take this picture and you're going to put it in your book one day. And then I'm holding the book.
I'm
Isn't it
waiting for Tiggs's book, probably called "I'm Still Alive."
Yeah.
This is a Tig Notaro joke. It's for no one but
No, I
every
liked
person
it.
in this room.
No, the Tiggs book is called I Did Not Get Sued for $1.3 billion, did a bunch of crack, and had a great time. So Mike goes to get drugs at a club in Minneapolis and meets a guy who knows Tony, who was the kid from Memphis that was sitting on the pile of dirt from the last episode. And he goes on to tell him that Tony now owns a bunch of restaurants in Memphis, and he calls you the angel from the north for saving his life.
Hell yeah.
What are the odds? Mike stops talking to his non-crack friends. He finds his out-of-body crack essay that we talked about last time hidden behind the picture frame. And then turns out God is a snitch, because God tells Mike's sister that he's smoking crack. She calls him and is like, God told me you were smoking crack, Mike.
God was
But
the
did she
name
also say-
of a local heroin addict with a big mouth, though.
Did she also say he was doing important work?
She said that the word platform keeps getting used. Like, this pillow company is going to be a platform for God, Mike. You need to keep your eyes on the prize and stop smoking that fucking that mellow
sweet
rock.
rock.
Yeah.
I think he's setting this up for this eventually to become a video game.
Hear me out. At a certain point, we discovered that God is a crack rock.
Mike gets arrested in Vegas, but he doesn't know why. He spends 3 days in jail without knowing why he was being held.
Looking back.
It turns out the Stardust Casino had sold their unpaid debts to a collection agency, and he'd never paid $100 line of credit for back in the Schmitty's days. When
I
he
also
was,
set a mattress on fire.
he gets let out. His son Darren finally leaves him. Darren's had enough, and so
Real asshole move.
and then Rachel leaves him and takes all the furniture. So now he's just in his house in the woods.
Now I'm on the floor.
It was just me and the floor and a dragon bong attached to a wall upside down.
January 2009. This is apparently his lowest point, which I'm like, was it your lowest point? Also, because that's when Obama got. Anyway, Mike is homeless.
Thank you for reading between the lines.
Mike is homeless. He smokes more crack and he couch surfs with his friend Bruce. Sadness.
Does this imply he got his life together during the Obama administration?
Yes, absolutely. Sadness. He calls this period equal parts sadness and excitement.
That's the only equality he believes in.
Because he still had a pillow and a dream.
Yeah, well, apparently the pillow work is just piling up. Like, he keeps referring back to it. He's like, I had 500 unanswered answering machine messages for my pillow while all this is happening. I think this is maybe the time where he actually decides to quit. He said he's losing his friend cocaine, but he's excited about his new life. And on January 16th, 2009, he prayed, God, when I wake up, I don't ever want to have the desire for drugs or alcohol again. And that's the end of chapter
If I give up
34.
those whites, can we get other whites to come back?
So yeah, basically the big message with this one, less card counting, so it was less boring to me than the last chapter, because as I said, to me, that's why I can't get into Vegas. It's just, you want to do math and lose money? Like,
That's
no,
why you and I got to go to Vegas Rivers, because I will show you how to have a good time. It involves getting drunk and going to an aquarium.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, I just mean like doing like try to pitch me on a casino. It's like, yes, you're going to sit there, you're going to be bad at math like you always are, and you're going to lose money. I'm like, those are my least favorite things.
But you can smoke indoors, and they will give you Long Island iced teas every 25 minutes.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
And surrounded by the saddest, fattest people you've ever seen.
And also
true.
my mom.
And also your mom.
I believe the only way he could card count is if he knocked a deck of cards off a table and pointed and said 52.
But yeah, shout out to Hobo Eddie. Thanks once again for sending me the book. Part 4, our final part will be coming next week. But yeah, the book still hasn't turned boring. It's still, as I said, a weird guy at the end of the bar just telling you bullshit stories. And I gotta say, in the words of Ryback, feed me more.
Those are kind of my favorite kinds of biographies.
Yeah.
Is where it's not so much like this is the childhood and this was the moments. It's more just like when somebody's sort of like giving you a good rambly story of how they tell it.
So let's talk Yelp. I think, Andy's
Yelp
driving the car
reviews.
on this one
Yelp
because
reviews.
I've been extremely busy. So Andy was sending me all these Yelp reviews. I haven't even had a chance to review what you sent me. It's been a very busy week.
For those listening,
let's talk.
If I can recommend something, let me give you my 5 out of 5 review of being friends with Andy Iwancio. If you want insane things to be sent to you pretty regularly,
Hell yeah.
very specifically built around things that you know and care about to a point where it's almost haunting sometimes, create a friendship with Andy Iwancio.
Hell
She will,
yes.
in fact, send you things that you didn't even know you remembered, and it's a fun, clever twist on it.
So one of my favorite things to do is to look up Yelp reviews for things that you would never turn to Yelp for.
Sure, yeah.
A review before
Burger
going
King,
to-
things
Like,
of that nature.
Fun stuff. Like there's reviews for the Vatican.
Yeah.
There's reviews for the Vatican. Apparently the thing that happens out front is people just believe so much in religion they get constantly scammed out of money in front of the Vatican thinking they're about to take tours.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I know about the Vatican is 100 of the reviews mentioned it's a great place to get pickpocketed.
That's the thing. Italy's crazy.
Yes.
Because, like, America, pickpocketing is, like, such an art, and we as a people have such gigantic hot dog fingers that it's a rarity here. So we do scams.
Yeah.
We'll either do a scam or we'll put a gun in your face. We're not subtle people. Italy's got pickpockets and scammers.
Yeah.
You know, no guns, but it's like it's one of those, like, you could pick two.
In France, I was kind of blown away at how much like just walking through.
Oh yeah.
like,
Look at this newspaper. Look
Yeah.
at this newspaper, and then a child is grabbing shit out of your pocket.
I
Yeah.
can tell you from reviews of the Louvre, 50 or so of those reviews mention that the Mona Lisa is smaller than they were expecting.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
is.
yep.
Do you know what they don't
not a
talk
lie.
about is people standing and just taking photos of it all day.
That's-
In its glass case.
yeah.
That's all of the complaints for somebody. People can't get close enough to see
Yeah.
it.
Right, right.
I like.
Well, and the ones who do throw, like, what was it, like cream cheese or some weird shit on it?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Someone threw a cream pie at it, I think. Yeah.
I also laugh because the joke I have about the Louvre is it's impressive, but also it's kind of padded out with Jesus stuff.
well, that's every
They lean
fucking
on that
museum.
European
Jesus
art
stuff
museums
heavy.
padded out.
That
with
was
Jesus.
actually the first time my dad ever went to the Getty. Me and my mom were wandering around, and we finally were like, "Fuck is dad?" And he's just sitting there, and we were like, "What's up?" And he was like, "That's a lot of Jesus stuff, man. I feel like I'm in Catholic school again. I'm
Yeah.
good."
So I'll start with this.
Yes,
so,
hit me.
One of the things that's really fun is you can look up amusement park reviews are very good.
Hell yeah.
And,
We're entering my country.
I have one for a local LA place.
Oh, what is it?
A review. You want the 1-star reviews, but sometimes there's 5-star reviews. They're
They're
very
also
great
insane.
where the details are so specific.
Sure.
You're like, this doesn't help me.
Yeah.
This is a 1-star review. I'm gonna give you what normally goes into it. This is just a preview of this is what we normally have. This is from Mia H. 1 star.
and let me guess where it's from after.
Oh no, because it'll
Okay.
be obvious. This is from Knott's Berry Farm.
Okay.
Awful, terrible staff, terrible customers, terrible service, graffiti on everything, and unbelievably long wait times. Save your money. It's basically paying to stand around or an endless free-for-all of spending. You corporate assholes. You did Charlie Brown dirty.
Wow. Damn. I think
Wow, Mia.
Charlie Brown signed up for Knott's Berry Farm. They didn't go looking for Charlie Brown,
Well,
right?
it's part of a Cedar Fair Corporation, which has rights to use the peanuts.
Oh,
within their
wow.
environments.
Oh, shit. All right.
Yeah, and it came out of nowhere. So
But that's like a weird because there's the theme parks of that aren't Disneyland in Los Angeles. There's a lot of real nefarious review stuff within them that makes them sound cheap and are always a little racist.
I had to skip over a lot of those. So now
Six Flags Magic Mountain is the worst, where it's just people
Yeah.
going like, there are brown people there and it is unacceptable.
there are a lot of reviews. You have to go down to the not recommended reviews, and you just see people like, we saw,
saw
a gang
black
war.
teens having
no,
fun.
it's a gang war.
Yeah. Yes. That's the code word they use.
Okay, so now we're stepping up.
All right,
Let's
here we
step
go.
it up one step further.
Okay.
Now, if you go to an even more famous amusement park, one of my favorite parts about Disney World and Disneyland is that you don't have just reviews of the park because there's so many to go by. There's individual reviews for each one of the rides.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
And so this one is from It's a Small World because I knew it was going to be good.
Yeah, of course.
I knew it was
California or Florida.
this is California.
Okay.
This is from Myrna E. 5 stars. Here's another popular Disney ride that for some reason doesn't get as much attention during the year as it does during Christmas. It's a great ride
It's a
to
good
cool
overlay.
off, breastfeed your baby
I'm sorry. Hold on. What?
if it wants to, and watch all of the colorful
If it
puppets.
wants to.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, you want in on this?
Like, I'm not. I'm
Brace
not.
your baby on the Star
That's the
Wars ride.
It's like
That's too much shaking on
There's
that,
yeah,
though.
yeah. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with doing that in public, but on a ride is so fucking weird to just be like, I don't know. I guess you're right. It's a small world. There's not like a whole lot happening.
My
but
mind,
still,
I'm like, that's a good plan.
You can
Is
do it
it?
in Small
Okay.
World, you
It's
can do
not.
it.
Don't do that on a ride.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Come
You
on,
can
man.
do it on teacups.
Yeah, the baby gets centrifugal forced out.
It gets faster.
Yeah, yeah.
Goes out faster. It's
I will use this moment to go into a side bit here.
Okay.
So one of the problems that happens in Disney World and Disneyland is people disposing ashes
Yeah.
of their loved ones on the rides. Top 3, number 1,
Haunted Mansion.
Haunted
Haunted
Mansion.
Mansion. Yeah.
Number 2, obviously Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Number 3, at only 2 times ever happening in history, is It's a Small World.
That's where my mom would want hers secretly
Really?
done.
Space Mountain, motherfucker.
I'm gonna end
Space
up having to
Mountain.
sprinkle some It's a Small World.
Oldest ride, longest line. Woo!
My I do have a bit about this. I said that Space Mountain's the worst to spread your ashes because suddenly, like, these are all slow rides.
Yeah, it's already dark.
You're gonna throw it out, and it's gonna hit the person behind you. Somebody's gonna be like, woo!
Yeah.
I didn't know the future had dust.
Yeah, you got to be at the back of the. You got to be at the last cart to do that.
That's space dust. I would want to.
Moon dust. Yeah.
I would want to go on the Matterhorn. I want to be spread all over that Sasquatch.
Throw it at the Yeti.
So you just want to have somebody ready to sort of just.
Yeti ready.
Antique the Yeti. Yeah.
Where are you going, Kyle?
I mean, that's a good question. There's too many things involved to think. I have a running joke for a long time where if I'm at a place I like, my joke is always like, I want my ashes scattered here. And the joke I always had was I make the comment of the happiest I've ever been in a place was in Las Vegas in like 2010, maybe something like that. And I got there early with a buddy before the rest of my friends showed up, and it was Halloween time. So we went and did both of the Circus. Circus had 2 different haunts going. They had one where you walked, they took a whole floor over that was cool. But then their big indoor theme park was just a big horror park for the night. And the entire thing was lit with black lights. All they did was play Slayer and the Misfits, and there's just sexy goth ladies in Vegas-style outfits handing booze out that was neon. And I turned to my friend and was like, this is the happiest I'll ever be, and I want my ashes scattered here. And then we later walked through, and there was some room, and there was just a demon rocking out to Battery from Metallica. And I was like, you rule, evil demon, and it gave me the fucking double horns. And I was like, this is all I want. Devil, I'm yours.
It's important to make that specificity because my dad never said anything, and that's why he's in my drawer at home.
Where are you getting spread?
I said it. Space Mountain.
Space
Oldest ride, longest line.
Not the oldest ride, though.
Yeah, but that's what Ric Flair said, so it's true. That was his whole thing. Yeah,
It was built in the 70s.
No, he called himself Space Mountain because there'd be a big line of ladies that wanted to service him, and he would go, oldest ride, longest line. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, you step up and ride Space Mountain. Yeah.
I would say what I want is not my ashes spread, but to lay down and have the cats that come out at night eat my body.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I would like just my nude body just pushed into a log flume ride of some kind.
Now I've abandoned death and just want to meet somebody who calls themselves Splash Mountain.
So I couldn't think of how boring you would have to be to have your ashes spread at It's a Small World.
Again, my mother will want that.
But another person, but I realized this is where you put your racist grandparent.
Oh, what the
You
hell?
spread their ashes so for the rest of eternity,
children.
they
equality in the
travel
future.
at 2 miles per hour as the entirety of the world gets along in song.
You save it for that last room where everybody's having a great time, and they're just like, my ashes are melting.
So those are amusement parks. What else we got?
So my other favorite is church reviews.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because it's like never helpful. Here we go. I'm gonna read this whole one.
Too Catholic.
It's like, dude, either the preacher's good or he's not. What is there to say?
Methodist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this as Mike Lindell.
Okay.
This is from John W. 1 star. I took my ex-Mormon girlfriend at the time to hear this pastor talk about Galatians, and instead of giving an amazing sermon on the grace of God, he talked a lot about Led Zeppelin.
Okay, I'm in.
Holy shit.
My girlfriend left without really hearing the gospel message, and she was very turned off by the whole experience. I was pretty disappointed. Unfortunately, she passed away a year later without really ever giving her heart to God. That I know of anyway.
Yeah.
I never went back. Enjoy your Zep.
Your rock and roll killed my ex-Mormon girlfriend.
I don't know if she found God, but she's dead.
She heard Misty Mountain Hop and exploded.
I like the idea of relating any review of any place to somebody who died.
That's fucking crazy.
My grandmother died. Then I had a bad slice of Sbarro pizza.
Insult to injury.
1 star.
Now, Andy and I went to coffee, and she was telling me about this bit, and I said, "Oh, I have a bit within a bit," which is that one time after I'd done Crackers Comedy Club in Indianapolis, I got stuck at the airport and wrote a review for most businesses in the airport just to amuse myself. Flash forward to 6 months later, Emily Heller was coming back from Bloomington, and she texted me and said, "Did you write a bunch of Yelp reviews for businesses at the Indianapolis airport?" And I said yes.
Oh, so we have a first-hand document.
Oh, yeah.
Sir.
First-hand document. So this is a business called the Indy 500 Grill.
Okay.
The 4 displayed only foods kill your appetite, so you don't have to go in. This is a great place to eat fried foods to enjoy with a loved one before they leave you for a new job or area or person.
For another place.
I wrote a review for Qdoba Mexican Eats.
Ooh.
The best burrito place in the whole left front of the airport. The guy who made my burrito did it with the verve and unending enthusiasm of someone pulling the plug on an elderly relative. The fact that I threw up an hour or so later is probably coincidence and has nothing to do with this particular burrito.
Question about the Indianapolis airport. If I were going to go for my go-to morning Bloody Mary, where should I go?
This is a great question. This bar, Vinia, this bar has everything the discerning traveler needs. Bloody Marys, thin, anemic crostini, garlicky hummus, and charging stations.
This literally sounds like my dream in an airport.
If you don't like one of the 12 liquors on offer, then maybe you should try to drink somewhere that's not an airport.
I have really learned that the only time I enjoy drinking is before 9 a.m. at an airport.
Yeah, because you have special dispensation.
I had no idea I love Bloody Marys until 3 years ago.
Oh, buddy.
No, an airport Bloody Mary is delicious.
Do you know the secret? There's a secret that people haven't been able to figure this out, but tomato juice tastes better on an airplane.
The combination of salt, right? Salt and sugar. Like the people drink more tomato juice on airplanes than anywhere else.
As a ginger ale drinker, I get the vibe.
Here's the last one.
Yeah, hit us.
Okay, so what I find is to be the best reviews, as if you would go to Yelp and be like, I'm very aroused right now. Where am I going? Like, adult stores, adult theaters, sex clubs have the best reviews.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about this with Virginia. She was talking about a place called the Tiki Theater.
Yeah, we talked about this on the show before because they have my favorite review that says something to the effect of like, the crack smoke hung acrid in the air. And it was a guy who thought it was, like a tiki bar. He thought it was tiki tea.
Right,
and boy, was he surprised.
He was like, I wanted a
What
little
is it
umbrella,
instead?
and I got
It's a porn theater.
It's a porn theater where you can get a blowjob from a man with no teeth who's on crack.
Yeah.
And it's
he
closed?
and he was Mike Lindell. It is not closed.
No, it's right next to Third Wheel, so you can hit it right after the open mic.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you weren't busy, we'd go after this.
I was gonna say it's in between Chick-fil-A and Smartweed.
Much like me, it's fruity and sweet.
Yeah.
I'm queer, trans woman. That's important before I go into this.
Contextually.
Yeah.
So this is the best reviews I've found, because I just did, honestly, I went on to Google, I set the site, Yelp.com, in quotes, I put glory holes. Because I was looking for reviews with glory holes, and I found a number of really, really great reviews of this sex club in Atlanta. It has my favorite, what really got me
Which
was the name.
Okay.
The name of this sex club, 24 hours, like every good one is Tokyo Valentino.
Okay.
Ooh.
Which is also my favorite member of Buckaroo Banzai.
For some reason, Jermaine Dupri did not name check this in Welcome to Atlanta.
Disappointing.
I know.
So I feel like I need to... I'll explain after this. Okay, so again, sometimes it's not that the review is trying to be funny. It's the specificity of the review
Sure.
and what people cling on to. So it's not a person. These, especially sex clubs, are somebody you can see who's trying to be funny. This is not someone trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read the whole thing because it's very important.
Okay.
And I will give context after the fact. But I'm a cross-dresser wearing a skimpy yet sexy outfit with 6-inch heels. It's not easy for me to get across Cheshire Bridge Road and down the steep hill leading to the back entrance. Lastly, the working trans girls are making it hard for us cross-dresser sluts who just want to hook up with the guys. Because the men think we're all pros, and I'm definitely not. Those trans girls are really mean as well. So I don't know when or if I'll be back. But I still love Tokyo Valentino. I lost my male virginity there.
Yeah.
So there's a weird... I identified as a crossdresser I'm old enough to identify as a crossdresser in my younger days.
Right, we don't say that anymore.
Of the news groups.
Well, but transvestism still exists.
So what it is it's entirely an age thing. The idea is that, like, having people be able to have gender, this is me getting serious, finding your gender and finding your sexuality. I've been talking about this lately. I've been saying that, like, cross-dressers are... It was me finding my gender at the same time as finding my sexuality. When we talk about young trans people having the space, you want to have, kids should be able to have that tutu and rain boots and fire hat.
Yeah.
Like, discovery of gender separate from the sex talk. To have them together at the same time
Very complicated.
is two different talks at the
Right.
same time. That is like the Santa talk at the same time as the drug talk.
Right.
Which is like you're telling your kid, listen, Santa Claus isn't real. But if you smoke enough DMT, he will be before you. His crystalline eyes will carry up into the forever, thruppling into tentacles that reach off into the distance. His eyes double over. He can sense everything you've ever done wrong across your life and the multiverse. His rage is blinding. He will turn you to coal. But yeah, so like basically there's a thing where trans women and cross-dressers, because of age, it's almost like the people who can do, it's full-time to part-time. What it is somebody not having the full time to live out their own thing because they're closeted. And then...
Well, but there is because there is the whole subsection of like straight men who like dressing like
That's
women.
something we were always told about, but
that exists though.
real?
Like, yeah, it
So-
absolutely is.
So...
Yes. I think I get prickly to this because I think
Okay,
it
yeah.
sucks for a subset of people who like have a
Who
thing
exist and have a
people
thing.
immediately have to lump you into something
Right.
else that
Right.
you are not a part of.
So, in specifically Los Angeles, I was asked to do a comedy show at a sex club in Van Nuys. And now I went, and what I realized is it was an all-trans woman show at a sex club, and we were doing it mostly for cross-dressers that did not know this was going to happen. So we were taking up
weird.
their space. But it was the most adorable thing because you understand that there's a range of emotion that these people are trying to live out. And sometimes it's just people want to look like librarians talking to a man that they put their arm around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw. Like some of it's just very
It's the shared experience.
it's really adorable for these men to be able to find these women and like to just share these moments that really aren't as like terrifying as you would think, but we had taken up the space that they would normally be dancing in, and I felt bad because much in the same way.
But that's just comedy. We just take up everybody's
We're just
fucking
showing up
spaces.
where we're not wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
felt bad because it's rubbing it in. Like we already have we already get to have the tits that
It's
we've
privilege.
taken hormones for.
Right.
It's almost like we're taking steroids. That's how they see this game. Again, like the pro girls. But I saw a 7-foot tall cheerleader at the front desk of this sex club being like lodging a complaint and being like, listen, I'm supportive of trans women.
but they are taking my
They're
Saturday night
taking
away from me.
my space and
I
my
came
time.
to dance. I'm not used to having this fuck me over from somebody who's I'm already confused for.
I'm like, unlike most open mics, I felt bad.
I was going to say, somewhere across town, there's like some, shit kicker out in the valley just being like, God damn it, I thought it was karaoke night. What are these fucking comedians doing here? And that's how we bridge the gap. We can bring everybody together for mutual hatred of comedians taking over shared spaces.
That was my most LA moment, was getting paid for a gig in a cross-dresser sex club by a Armenian man who was completely bald named Cosmo, who gave me money in an envelope and thanked me for my time.
I'm genuinely curious if the Cosmo I'm thinking of who fits that description lives in the valley is the same one.
I was going to say, I'm surprised Cosmo's not in Mike's book.
Girls, I'm going to be available anywhere you see my name on the marquee, and you can ride Space Mountain all night long for if you're 18 years old or over. Woo!
That's the world champion, the one, the only, Ric Flair. Coming right back.
Y'all, are you ready for our final segment?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna love it. It's our jam of the week. Oh, do we hear that? So we're going back to the goddamn 1980s. This is Journey. Oh, don't you just feel like punching the air? Get training? A montage, perhaps? Oh, boy. This is, of course, Separate Ways, parentheses, Worlds Apart by Journey. And this is off of their album from 1983, Frontiers. Y'all know this song? You know this one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Steve Perry. A god amongst men.
Shares a name with the lead singer of the Cherry Poppin'
What? You gotta change your name if you're a lead singer and your name's Steve Perry. For the love of God, you can't touch the hem of Journeyman's garment.
Yeah.
Fucking Cherry Poppin' Daddy's guy.
I feel like we should be wearing headbands.
We haven't even hit
t-shirts with the Japanese flag on it.
Yes, hell yeah. Oh, we haven't even hit the damn chorus yet. Oh, it's just the pre-chorus. This is a fucking rocker. This song has 100 million views and 35,052 comments. And y'all, I found the best. That's right. Fuck yes. So let us now take that journey down into the YouTube comments of Journey's Separate Ways, Worlds Apart. First up, Brian Manning from 9 years ago. I feel like I could kick anybody's ass as long as I had a headset with this song on them. I feel the same way, I gotta say. I share Brian's sentiments. What about y'all?
I'm kicking someone's ass right now.
Brian, specifically. I bet I could take Brian.
I feel like I could run up as many stairs as there are in the world if I had this in the headphones.
Mark Andre Snyder from 3 years ago. The music video should have been a montage of a guy working out, drinking and driving at night with flashbacks of a woman. Good notes.
A little editorial note.
Yeah, a little note. Because if you've seen this video,
performance, like they're dancing in an alleyway, right?
This video is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
It literally, I think they just spent all of the money that was supposed to go to the video on drugs. And they recorded it. It's outside of a warehouse, I think in New Orleans. And it's just them mugging to the camera and lip syncing.
Yeah,
it's fucking incredible. If you've not watched this video, it rules. Food Lover from 8 years ago. Aren't we all? Taken from someone who actually lived 80s. They were awesome. I mean, the ones of us who lived them, we had the best TV shows, fashion dances, and especially the best damn music to ever hit the airwaves of me damn car. Portable stereo, radio system that hit the fucking market and come out over our speakers at the time. Man, the 80s were just fucking awesome, man. It was time for a generation of youthful voices to speak out and be heard. A time for rebellion and change in American culture and society.
That almost sounded like Wesley Willis. Rock over London, rock on Chicago.
Wheaties, breakfast of giants.
It definitely sounded like it changed into hashtags, meta tags.
Well, here's how much this guy loves the 80s. I assume must be a reference to the purple one, Prince. All the twos are the number twos in this, and cum is spelled C-U-M and all of that. So, he loves. He's like VH1, baby. He loves the 80s.
Not yet. I was waiting for the yell.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
No spoilers.
It'll be coming around the mountain again.
It's not going to pick up on the microphones, but Virginia is in fact lip syncing every.
Oh, she's recreating the
word
video.
of the song.
Yeah, she's recreating the video over here. Mr. Who from 1 month ago. I was in a coma for 6 months after a car accident. This song was played to me, and I started tapping my toes and woke up.
Saved.
I was about to say, if Virginia's ever in a coma, I know how I'm bringing her back right now.
Or if I start being possessed by a multidimensional demon,
Yes.
this is my Kate Bush running up that hill.
Oh, there we go. Apparently, this was in Stranger Things. Because anytime a song from the 80s ends up in a popular TV show, there are people being like, people are here for fucking Stranger Things, but I've been here since the beginning. And you're like, why are you mad about someone finding out about your
Yeah,
band?
someone finding out a thing that you like.
Yeah.
How dare a child that was not born yet not know that a song was good before they were born?
Carl Romer from 6 years ago. Well, while in college, a regular band played, and the lead singer and keyboard player at age 23 sang this to perfection. My friend Dan Belt introduced me to this cover band. Ironically, but not Jeff Jennings, the lead vocalist and keyboard player, won Star Search with Ed McMahon at age 16.
Just a memory lane.
Too
just
bad.
a real brain dump.
Too bad on one night of heavy drinking, I accidentally dropped Dan's keys down a manhole cover and he had to fish him out the next day. One of the best songs of all time, and Steve Perry is very hard to imitate. Here's to all that revere the lyrics and voice. I'm like, that's the shaggiest ass dog story I've ever heard. Where you're like, as soon as you drop the word unfortunately, you're like, uh-oh, what happened?
What
It's
happened?
like, I was a dumbass and I dropped the keys down the gutter.
That entire comment was a better plot than the video. Like, if that was the video, that would have been great. Like,
Every single one of these comments are the guys who DM me on Facebook. Like, they're proud grandfathers, and they want to talk about one memory that we have together from 1986. It's bizarre.
Well, maybe this might be different. No Pacheo from 8 years ago. Someday love will find me without my ex-wife. All right. Okay. Chill out. Okay.
It's gonna be okay, Pacheco.
there's no place you should take your hatred of a loved one than the comment section of a YouTube video.
Vivo Colorado ONGP Productions from one year ago.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Sublime cover band.
I told you I'd be coming around the mountain, Blofus. Bow down. Prowler's all I know, Beetle. Hi, Timothy. Giggle, little girl. I'm sorry, Tears of Joy. Hello, Laurie. No, I'm Gina, Laurie's damn daughter. Bubbles, Frankie, Fart Daddy. It's funny. Bubba's Free-Hole. I'm Mattel Pussy.
I was outside with Mattel and Pussy. I had a pillow full of state secrets.
A robotic woman kept calling me and saying,
Rachel took all of my furniture, but I listened to this Journey song and I felt better.
The Greek dropped my keys into a manhole cover. Ed McMahon called me. He said, "Your pillow."
Doing God's work.
This one almost is a Michael Lindell story. Tyler Zapp from 12 years ago. I sang this song for my ex-girlfriend, and I won her back. I guess she didn't know what the song was actually about. I looked right into her eyes, and I sang, "I will always love you." And that won her back. Journey's fucking awesome. I'm like, that did not happen.
No. I can totally see this winning somebody over. It definitely sounds like the theme song to a lot of TV shows. She's like, oh my gosh, he knew that I love the theme song to Airwolf.
Yeah, the thing that gets me hottest in this world. Dick Belisario dramas, yes. Got a couple more here. Junk Stock from 2 years ago. I believe in you, Steve Perry. No junk, no crap. We need love and hope in the world. Music is harmony to our souls. I'm not that smart, but I'll listen to you and the world. There's a lot of love. This is the only thing that's worth fighting for. Plain and simple. Love for everyone. Now, with all the stuff going on, we need your voice, Steve Perry. For hope and love, I believe in God. And I feel you can help others too also.
That's my favorite Elvis Costello song.
I love you and mankind. I love my children. Please, we all need help, not only for our family, but mankind. I believe you can do this, but quickly, it's about over. Please help, Steve. We love you.
To think about mankind. Mrs. Foley.
Yeah,
Little boy.
Mrs. Foley's baby boy. By God! By God!
He's broken in half.
He needs Jesus. Mark Aranita from 1 year ago. Yeah, I'm that young nephew that drinks with his uncles, having beer, admiring their life stories, drunk. Hell yeah, that sounds like fun.
That's it.
Mark be having fun with his uncles. Damian Van from 2 years ago. The chick problem song. Why do women pick the worst time to fuck with your head? I was in my sophomore year, and I was having the best year of baseball I ever had. I was crushing my spots, batting .760. I was in the 6th game of the season when everything came to a stop. She sends me a note. I thought things were going great. We never fought. And she sends me a note that says, thinks we should see other people. Really? During my baseball game, you bitch? I strike out, and I had 2 errors to my almost perfect year. My coach looks at me with concern and almost benches me. The game goes from terrible to worse, including a fight I should not have started. I'm sitting in the showers by the 7th inning, and the radio station I was listening to was playing this stupid song every 15 minutes. I was just too bummed to get out of bed to change the station. This song is great and awful at the same time, yet here I am.
Jeff, I was just asking you when you heard the song.
Yeah.
During your baseball game, that bitch.
I like the idea that they're answering somebody asking all of these questions. When did you hear this song? Why did you hear it? Did you lose that game?
Well.
How long have you had a computer? Did you take an edible today?
And finally, Pete Rodriguez from 6 years ago, and this is all caps. This is the ultimate heartbreaking song in the world. Damn, damn, damn! Too many tears shed for a certain person, and not worth it for any woman. Not even Kitty. Not worth it. But, best song ever. Sad, but a theme to live by and move on to, especially when it comes to a gal. How I know. Kitty, you killed me. Damn. Damn you. Almost 5 years, still pain. Can't waste time, energy, emotional capital on a woman again. No fucking way. They're not worth it. Kitty from Long Island broke me in a million pieces. It took me ages to recover. A great gal gone. Separate ways. But that's life. Life's a bitch. And so are most females. Not nice, but it's true. How do we break the bonds that bind us, especially a love of a great gal? And I don't think they can ever be broken. I might take a bomb or my death to do that, damn Kitty. Laura, my ex. More way. This is sounds like 3 people. Kitty, Laura, the ex. More wasted time. Though we were great for all those years till I fucked up, sorry. But I know you were doing great. Time to move on. Kill, 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 and forget the past. The show must go on. Keep rocking and partying. That's the only thing that keeps me alive. I wish I was with you, but that wasn't our fate. I'm now with...
This isn't Kitty's restraining order. She filed this whole comment with the police in Long Island.
Last line. Now I'm with a new and great gal from Florida, Ellen. It's like, Ellen, run. Listen to me, Ellen. Fucking run.
He's not over Kitty.
He loves Kitty and Laura and his ex.
Can you turn that so I can see that comment?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the way that you read it makes me believe you can sing that to the song. Any woman, not even Kitty, not worth it, but best song ever. Bad, but it seemed to live.
Hold on, babe.
All right, are you gonna try it?
Sad, but a theme to live by and to move on to, especially when it comes to a gal. How I know, Kitty, you killed me.
life doesn't pass. Show must go on. Keep rocking and partying.
Oh, glorious, glorious. Oh, and the fucking solo. Perfect timing. That was Journey with Separate Ways, Worlds Apart. And that is our goddamn program. Virginia Jones, where can people find you on the internet?
Oh my God, I'm at www.badinia.com. That is my TikTok. That is my Insta, Badinia. And then me and Andy will be in the Altercation Festival in Austin, Texas, October 19th through 22nd.
Hey, if you're in Austin and you don't go to that show, we're going to have an altercation.
And then, right after Halloween, I'll be on the Who's the Ross show at Silver Lake Lounge for a nice Halloween come down on November 1st.
Hell yeah. Kyle, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, you can find me at Kyle Clark is Rad on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, I literally only have to talk to people who have listened to podcasts and want to follow up. So if you got stuff, hit me up there. Instagram, you can find show dates, and I do my artwork stuff up there. I have a Radland Records. You can go to radland-records.com. We have a website now.
All right.
We've got records up there, and we'll have more coming out before the end of the year. And this is out this week.
Yeah, Tuesday.
If you're listening to this, my podcast, This Is Rad, we are doing our Radtober run where we are doing all spooky stuff. We've recorded most of them at this point. They are some real bangers. Plus, I do at the end of the year, or end of the month, a Halloween special where I've written 4 short stories that people are reading for it. And if you're hankering for short stories, every Thursday this month at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, I am going to be on the This Is Rad Instagram reading horror stories that are written from past This Rad Halloween specials, and then talking about writing and horror stuff in general with people for a while. So check those things out.
Cool. Hell yeah. Andy Iwancio, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Andy Iwancio on all of the things, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And coming up, me and Virginia are both at the Altercation Festival down in Austin.
Hey, you know what? If you don't go to that show, we're going to have an altercation.
Actually, you should come to the show. It's at a place called, and the show will kick butt. It's called Kick Butt Coffee.
All right.
But we'll be doing a house show on Friday. That's October 21st.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and other than that, I will be going to Cincinnati at the end of the month. I'll be there, and then I'll be recording my actual album, The Tape Cassette, in Seattle the first Saturday of December. It's separate from the EP that I recorded for Kyle's label.
All right.
Radland, so...
Hell yeah. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rivers Langley. Come see me on the road. I'm doing shows in Mobile, doing shows in New Orleans, Auburn, Alabama, Waverly, Alabama, all over the damn place. And then, of course, on December 22nd, come see me, Joe Rains, Wes Van Horn, many, many more at the return of Yellowhammered at Saturn in Birmingham, Alabama. That is food and a comedy show for just $15, and it's going to be incredible food. So come out and see that. And if you would like to support our show, the best way to do that would be to head to patreon.com/thegoodspod. Just put up almost a 2.5-hour episode with Brandy Posey and Anna Valenzuela all about my son Hunter, which is fucking insane. Yeah, listen to that. And remember, you have to tell me if you're a Borat. It doesn't count. Are you a Borat? And the second best way to support the show, head to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Show that attitude of gratitude, because if you do not have the attitude of gratitude, Daddy, we're leaving a bad Yelp review at your sex club.
1 star.
The Goods from the Woods was recorded and edited by me, Rivers Langley. You can find our show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by Jonas, the Space Cowboy.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.